Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Pewarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most from the co-host with the most here on the Rundown 2A Views, Conservative News. Greg, guess what day it is?
Uh-oh. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
That's right, folks. Today is Hump Day. Now, Hump Day is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But as I like to say, the fun is all in the trying.
That's it. We give it a shot, baby. We're going to give it a shot.
We are definitely going to give it a shot. So I got to say, Mike, literally just before the show began. So I've been doing this carnivore diet, right? Which is like all animal, all meat, everything, all meat, all animal. And I just am now just about to come off of it. And the first thing that my wife brings me is this coconut cream, a piece of coconut cream pie that on top of being, the best coconut cream pie I have ever had. Of course, it's also probably because I have not had any sugar in well over a month. I have to say, feeling a little orgasmic right now.
That's more than we wanted on your coconut cream pie.
Bruh, sugar, man. The endorphins are flowing.
Sugar's good. Sugar's energy.
Good.
Sugar's energy, and energy burns calories.
There you go. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. That's our story. We're sticking to it. How you doing today, sir?
Not too shabby. Getting by.
Excellent. We got some interesting stuff to talk about today. Some dark stuff, some not too fun stuff, and some entertaining stuff. So let's not dilly-dally too much, and let's get into it and start off the way we usually do with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep. Let's say hi to our friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. Get on over there. You get AR barrels, rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code the rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, fire, security, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything except the gun.
Also want to remind you guys, please take a moment and visit the 2A newsletter. You'll find it at 2anews.us. If you're looking for 2A news, for Second Amendment related news on legislation, news on media, news on politics, news on guns, if you're looking for gun reviews, it wherever it is on the Webernets, trust me, blogs, vlogs, you will find it at 2anews.us. But here's the deal. You can have it delivered every evening to your email box, right to your inbox. All you got to do is sign up, subscribe today to the 2A newsletter. Do it now. Don't wait. Don't even hesitate. Go to 2anews.us and sign up rat now. I say rat now because rats are fast. So sign up right now.
Do it now. Go.
Right. Now, you'll notice the date on there was from yesterday. Because here's the thing that I have found, right? What happens is the 2A community, when we post stuff, we don't post our news, quite frankly, till afternoon. So what I started doing was when I started doing the newsletter, I would go and I would look at stuff in the morning and I'd find that there was hardly any news. But you know what? By afternoon, bam, all of the Second Amendment news, all the stories are out there for the day. So if you're wondering why it had yesterday's date on there, that's the reason why. So basically, after the show today, everyone will be getting in their email box, they will be getting the new one, which, by the way, will also include a link to today's show. Funny how that works, huh?
Yeah. See, it works out good.
Hey, also want to remind y'all, if you're watching this program during the 3 o'clock hour on the West Coast or during the 6 o'clock hour on the East Coast, you are watching us live, which means we're taking your comments. I'm looking right over here, and if I find you to say something interesting, I will go ahead and I will share it with the audience. And the best way to be interesting, quite frankly, is to disagree with us. Why is that? Because then we get to mock you.
Oh wow, is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
Mockers.
You son of a mocker.
Such a mocker.
Yeah, we don't do it. Once again, we don't do it because we want to be mean. We do it because it's fun and entertaining. In particular, it is entertaining to us.
That's it. And that's what matters.
And there you go. All right, let's get into today's story. This first story, I have to say, is quite upsetting. And it's upsetting for several reasons. We'll talk about one of the fundamental reasons why. And I think when you hear the story as reported by Fox News's Will Kane, I think you will come to understand why this is so upsetting. And by the way, let this serve as a warning for us here in the United States as to what happens if we could potentially be heading down this sort of a path.
A bombshell report on grooming gangs involving rape and child sex exploitation in the UK. A member of parliament released it yesterday. Some of the horrifying things in this inquiry included organized networks of perpetrators built coordinated operations that transported victims between locations, supplied them with drugs and alcohol, recorded abuse for distribution and blackmail, and passed girls between multiple adult men. These crimes have been committed for decades, since the 1950s, by Pakistanis in particular. The numbers in the report are absolutely staggering. Around 87% of those convicted in the group-based child sex exploitations are distinctively Muslim names. The report cites evidence of grooming gang activity in 149 different areas in the UK. And get this, an estimated 250,000 victims nationwide. In one case alone, 47 children were identified as victims. Now, Britain launched a national review of closed grooming gang investigations last year to relook at 1,200 cases, including 236 involving rape. Now, for the first time, some of those cases are officially being sent back to the police for a complete reinvestigation. So where all of these victims failed by the institutions meant to protect them. Quote, Sir Keir Starmer was the director of public prosecutions. It has been reported that while he was there, 13,000 suspected rape gang members and pedophiles were left off with warning letters. One survivor testified, we raised concerns at the time because we all went to the sexual health clinic, so there are records from that. Even the chief inspector of police was aware. Another said on one occasion, a police officer returned a victim named Fiona to the house where the abuse was occurring and told the men there to have fun with her. The accounts are harrowing. One woman described watching a girl being stabbed, beaten, and set on fire. Another account described a child just 5 or 6 years old, tied up and abused. And the report includes allegations of some victims branded with the initial M for Muhammad. It's sickening, incomprehensible, and preventable.
You go, oh, it's Sharia law. We're going to let them live in their groups and we're going to let them police themselves. This is what happens. This is what happens when you let the scum of the earth, police themselves, Craig. They just continue to do more scum activities.
Well, but Mike, this is the thing. This is not them policing themselves because they're doing this mostly to white women, to white girls, little girls. Basically, in their eyes, not only in their eyes, one, women are property. They're not even human. They are property, and they can do with them whatever they want. If they happen to be infidels, then it's even worse. Then their belief is they have an obligation to torture them, to hurt them, to harm them, to denigrate them, and to abuse them. At least that's what I mean. Once again, I don't know if that's all of Islam or if that's I'm not saying all Muslims do it. I'm not saying if that's something that's taught in the Quran, but I am saying that there are particular folks, and once again, like something like 98% of these folks have, at the very least, have Muslim last names, Muslim sounding names. These are folks who it is part of their culture. This is okay because it is part of their culture.
Yeah, Craig, I'm not saying this only applies to those groups. Let them live under Sharia law. This is let the bad guys police themselves under Sharia a Sharia law. They're still going after, non-Muslims. They're going after innocent victims, but they're allowing them to do it because, one, probably like you said, for racism, they don't want to be seen as racist going after it. And two, I don't think they want the fight. I think they want to be seen as, oh, we let them in our borders. This is just their culture. We let them do what they want. Well, sorry, put them under the jail.
No, these folks definitely deserve to be put under the jail.
Yeah.
And
this is what happens when you bring a culture to a country and your culture is 1,000 years old, right? We don't live like dirt people anymore. Okay, sorry.
Right. Well, and anyway, the thing that the reason why I'm like this is important to understand is because this is where DEI takes you, right?
Yeah.
In particular, when you have a culture that is, I mean, you have to understand that the Islamic culture is very much, they believe in expanding their values any which way. So by force, if possible. But if they can just come in and then use our own values against us, our own democratic values against us, our own tolerance against us, our own desire or need to be tolerant of others. You know what? I'll be tolerant of people, but I'm not tolerant of behaviors, right? If your behaviors harm society and harm others, I am not going to be tolerant of that. But we have people on the left. I mean, think about this, dude. You have Queers for Palestine, right? Once again, you have people who literally are saying, we for Palestine, we're for Palestinians, we're for the people who will throw us off the roof for being gay if they could.
Yeah, and again, here on the rundown, perfectly willing to help fund your ticket to go to Palestine if you want to go. Yeah.
Yes, if you want to go, hey, we got you.
Yeah.
We got you. We will send you. All we ask is this. I want you to do some. I want some selfies. Matter of fact, I want you to go ahead and put your phone on. I want you to just live stream it when you go to them and say, and you let them know, hey, I'm gay, I'm here, I'm queer, and I'm for you.
Yeah.
Just make sure your phone is still recording.
Yeah. Go right ahead. See how that works out.
See how that works out for you. My guess is it ain't gonna work out too well for you, but
it'll work out fast though. So it won't take a while.
I mean, once again, we cannot be tolerant of that, which is intolerable, which is in particular in direct conflict with our nation, with who we are. And at a certain point, we have to say, once you're undermining our values, tolerance ends. Right? That's not tolerance. That's called self-preservation. That's called protecting me and protecting mine. When I say self-preservation, I'm not just talking about protecting me. I'm talking about protecting my family. I'm talking about protecting my neighborhood. I'm talking about protecting our nation. I'm talking about protecting our values. And you know what? I would expect nothing less from them in their country, right? They have every right to do what they deem necessary to protect their values in their country and protect their family in their country, right? You do what you got to do to protect people in your house. I'll do what I got to do to protect the people in my house.
Yeah, and even then, listen, I know we don't want to be the world's police, but you start finding countries that their laws allow them to commit genocide. Well, it's time to step in and do something.
Yes, exactly. I mean, at a certain point, and I said this yesterday. I said at a certain point, while we don't want to be the world's police, when you are the only superpower, sometimes you have to step up when you see evil and say, you know what, we might have to do something here.
Yeah,
sometimes you got to do it. That's where I'm like, I'm America first, not America only. I'm not an isolationist. But I do believe that when you decided that this is something that you are going to do, there needs to be a plan. And that plan needs to include the goals and an exit strategy.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. And anyway, so just folks, just be on guard. Be on guard for these people who basically want to subvert our values. And once again, use our values against us, right? Because these are folks who are going to say, well, you need to be tolerant. You're tolerant of rape gangs, tolerant of grooming gangs. Really? I mean, dude, 250,000 women, little girls, 250,000.
And listen, it's going on in this country too, Craig. If you don't listen, if you don't think it's going on in Minnesota, you're just fooling yourself. The way they turn their back on all kinds of laws there that are beneficial to them, including allowing Sharia law to occur.
Well, so one of the people, and I forgot her name, but she's an advocate. She was on with Oh gosh, one of the folks over there on the Daily. Anyway, she was on the Daily Wire. And one of the things she was pointing out, she's like, if you don't think this is happening in other Western countries, you're kidding yourself. She's like, this is just the one place where we were able to point it out, and we were able to actually get someone to actually pay attention and study it. But it's happening in France, it's happening in Germany, and it's happening in the United States. It's just in the it's just on the deep cover more here in the United States.
Yep.
Anyway, folks, wake up to reality. This stuff is actually really happening. Just saying. Speaking of things really happening now, I showed yesterday we had a one of our parting shots had the whole baseball thing, but you may not have heard, although I'm sure you probably have, about the baseball players who got admonished because during a Pride Month or a Pride Month celebration, a member of the San Francisco Giants decided that he was going to write a biblical scripture on his hat, right? Well, let's just say that was not very well received by Major League Baseball, by the San Francisco Giants, or by the gay community.
Their Christian faith. It comes after several San Francisco Giants players wrote Bible verses on their caps during a Pride Night promotion last week. Lucas Tomlinson straightens this out for us, I think. Good morning, Lucas.
Good morning, Bill. Senator Josh Hawley has written a letter to Major League Baseball saying that these players are being subjected to religious discrimination after Major League Baseball players on the San Francisco Giants were criticized by Major League Baseball for writing Bible verses on their team-issued Pride Night hats during Friday night's game against the Chicago Cubs, including Landon Roop, a 27-year-old right-hander from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, who started and pitched 4 2/3 innings with Genesis chapter 9, verses 12 through 16 written on his cap next to the rainbow-colored team logo, as you can see there. After the game, Roop said, "There's no hate at all. It's just what I stand for and what I stand on. I believe in God." 2 relievers also made appearances in the game with Bible verses on their hats. Another took the mound without his Pride Night cap, instead wearing the traditional orange lettering. The pitchers have a supporter in Vice President J.D. Vance, who posted on X, quote, "Trump won. We don't have to do this anymore." Now, San Francisco first added Pride Night uniforms in 2021. After the game, the Giants issued a statement apologizing to the LGBTQ plus community. Major League Baseball issuing a statement saying the writing on the caps violates our rules and consistent with normal practice. We have warned the players about future violations.
I think people are tired of corporations, whether they're, in the business space or in the sports setting, forcing ideology on players in things like rainbow symbols on uniforms, as they were on some of the hats. And so the fact that players are going to react to that should be expected, and it should be honored.
Now, meanwhile, here in Washington, Bill, the Nationals are 4 games over 500 for the first time since winning the World Series in 2019 and are currently holding that third wild card spot, Bill.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well.
All right, now I want to also share with you this. Now, this is from the perspective of one of the players and what he had to say about what was on the cap. And now, the funny part, you're going to, on the back end, you're going to realize this was not quote unquote anti-gay. It was pro-Christian.
A lot of the hate comes from perceived negativity, and without getting too off track, but like the Pride Night stuff with the Giants, I think that there's a perceived negativity with this stuff of okay, Landon Rout wrote a verse on his hat. That means that he's anti-something. That doesn't mean that, right? It means that he's pro-something, right? So the rainbow means something to him. It means that he believes in the Noahic covenant being something that's special to us as Christians, right? That means that no matter how bad we possibly could be, no matter how much we reject God, that he will never again flood the earth. That's really cool. That's really special. And we do a lot of stuff, and we're all sinful. We all do a lot of stuff that may be worthy of a flooding, but God will never flood us, and because of that promise, and his promises are unconditional. So that's something that's really cool to me, is that there's nothing negative, there's nothing anti, there's nothing that says that he doesn't support anything or that he's hateful or anything like that at all. It's all positive. It's all man, this is what the rainbow means to me, and I just thought.
And that's really what it comes down to. So he's forced to wear a rainbow cap, a rainbow hat. And so he says, well, this is what the rainbow means to me. How is that insulting? Why does Major League Baseball need to apologize to the gay community for someone saying this is what the rainbow cap they're making me wear means to me? He didn't say it means I hate gay people. It just means, God created the rainbow as a promise that he'll never flood us again.
Because the current commissioner of baseball has ruined baseball, Craig, and he's been doing it for the past 10 years since he's been in. Adding the DEI on top of it just does it even more. Craig, you want to have a celebration? Go ahead, have a celebration. I'm not going to be part of it. I'll be showing up in my regular uniform. Oh, you're going to make me wear this? Okay, well then I'm going to say what the rainbow means to me. It's about all it comes down to. You don't like it? Don't try and force me into doing something that I don't want to do.
Well, exactly. And in particular, making them exercise or celebrate something that they are more, in this case, morally opposed to. And Mike, this is what gets me. And I had this conversation with a young man the other day. I said, my problem is not, you want to live your life the way you want to live your life. You want to sleep with who you want to sleep with. As long as they're a consenting adult, that's your choice. What bothers me is that you want to force all the rest of us to celebrate your choice, right? Even if we are morally opposed to it. Once again, you have every right to sleep with who you want to sleep with. But I also have a right to say, yeah, that's not right. That's sin. Or at least I have a right to believe it, right? You don't have a right to force me to celebrate what you are doing in particular when I disagree with what you are doing.
And that's exactly what it is. If the commissioner of baseball wants to come out and say he supports this, okay, go ahead.
Right.
But you can't how can you force every employee to go with your belief system and then promote it and wear it?
Right. If players want to wear your rainbow stuff, wear your rainbow stuff. If you don't want to wear your rainbow stuff, you don't have to.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not that hard. You have a right to not be. You have a right to not support or not believe in, or not to believe in things and to not believe in things, to support things and to not support things. You don't have a right to force people to support things to which they are morally opposed.
Correct.
You just don't have a right to do that. That's called compelled speech.
That's it.
Anyway. All right, moving right along. We've been talking about, for a while now, we've been talking about the deal, right? Supposedly over the weekend there was a week we've been talking about, well, where's the deal? And this is what's in the deal and what's not in the deal. Well, guess what? The language of the deal has finally been released. We finally got the information out there, and it's now available for everybody to read. Now, Mike, I don't know if you've had a chance to take a look at it. I don't know, Mike, if you want to go through like the details of the details of it. Basically, and there's several main points here. The first is that the Islamic Republic and their allies in the current war, basically, there's going to be all stop fighting, right? That includes in Lebanon. Now, the question is, does that include Israel or does it not include Israel? There's nothing mentioned about Israel in here. I think they are trying to use Israel or make Israel out to be a proxy, the same way that the same way that Hezbollah is a proxy for them, and that's just not the case. Anyway. In the second area, they basically say that they're going to respect each other's sovereign territory and integrity, basically mean we're not going to get involved in their business. They're not going to get involved in our business. They're not very involved in our business. So it's just a question of, are we going to basically arm their people so that they can be involved in a revolution? Are we going to foment revolution there in Iran? And they're saying you are not allowed to. The third point here is that they will commit to negotiating. Supposedly, this is in 30 days, they're supposed to figure this stuff out, right? Immediately upon signing the MOU, the United States were supposed to begin removal of the blockade and anything. And basically, we're supposed to stop stopping ships. That's one of the things that we're supposed to be doing. And it's supposed to go back to pre-war traffic. We'll see exactly what that means. It doesn't say that there will not be tolls. It just says it goes back to pre-war traffic. Item number 5, upon signing, the Islamic Republic of Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for safe passage. This is where, once again, they're going to create safe passage, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to charge a toll. Item 6 undertakes regional partners. Basically, what they're saying is the U.S. is going to commit with regional partners about $300 billion to help rebuild some stuff there. Once again, this is supposed to be once they have a final agreement. Item 7, U.S. America undertakes to terminate all types of sanctions. So basically, we'll end sanctions against them, which is basically allow them to sell their oil. Item 8, Islamic Republic of Iran reaffirms that they will not procure or develop nuclear weapons. Doesn't say that they won't enrich. There's nothing in there about not enriching. And then pending the final deal, the United States of America and Islamic Republic agree to maintain status quo. The Islamic Republic of Iran will maintain the current status quo. Here we have a couple of other points here. Undertakes immediate upon signing termination of saying, well, we already had talked about the termination of sanctions. So that's pretty much the deal in a nutshell. Now, my analysis of this deal is it ain't great, but it ain't bad.
Let me say this, Craig. You said it doesn't involve the treaty there does not involve enrichment. Well, I believe it does because it's procurement. What they procure is usually nuclear waste, and they develop nuclear weapons by enriching them. So that includes enrichment of nuclear materials.
The argument that they're going to make is, well, as long as we're not enriching it to a certain level. That's the argument they're going to use. Here's the thing. I mean, ultimately, here's the thing, and you're right. But ultimately, the thing is, what are the chances that Iran is actually going to live up to their end of this deal?
They're not, and you're going to see more bombing. This is not over. You know, they're going to try something, and there'll be a little bit more. And I know it talks about also giving them $300 billion. Well, that's not. It's not like we're not delivering a pallet to Tehran the way that the last administration did. This is going to be to build a schoolhouse, to build a hospital, those type of things. And it doesn't say speed. We might be delivering $300 billion, $1 a year. You know,
right? I'm well. One, I want to see an end to the hostilities. I want to see this thing at the very least. See, here's the thing: if everything stays the same, right? If everything goes back to how it was before, to the degree that it can, then you know what? Then at the very least, we've set their nuclear program back a decade, at least. At the very least, we've basically taken out 2.5 levels of their leadership. We've sunk their entire Navy. We've destroyed their entire Air Force. And we accomplished the one main thing that we said we wanted to do, and was make sure that we prevented them from getting a nuclear weapon. You're never going to prevent them from getting one forever, but if you can push it down the road 10 years, okay.
Yeah, and I think we have empowered their people there. There was a comment in there about not giving weapons or aid to the people to overthrow their government. There's enough weapons there now. They don't have to worry about it any more from us.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, is it as good as some people wanted? No. Is it as bad as some people will tell you it is? No. You were not. This is the closest thing you were going to get to an agreement.
Yeah, and listen, I think left alone, Congress left alone, the courts left alone, President Trump, the bombing would still be going around the clock. They would not stop until, you know, there's nobody from the government left standing. But, you know, have to pay attention a little bit to what Congress and the courts are saying.
Just a wee, just a wee bit. Let's not.
Well, and again, and I think the only reason they're doing that pause is because they know that Iran's going to act up again, and then they get to go back in and start the clock all over.
Right. Well, the other thing that's funny is that even the Israelis have admitted that they've been engaged in a 50-year war against the United States, and they've in recent statements. That's one of the things they've said, that they've been at war with us for almost 50 years.
The Iranians did, not the Israelis.
Yes, the Israelis. The Iranians did. Did I say Israelis?
Yes, yes, you did.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, no, that was not what I meant. That's not what I meant. It may have been what I said, but it's not what I meant. Anyway, moving right along. We always knew that liberalism was a mental illness. Well, now it's not just a mental illness, but it's been confirmed that there is an outbreak of this mental illness on one Ivy League campus at least, although I'm sure there are probably more. This story out over at the Washington Free Beacon. Harvard students are twice as mentally ill as the general population amid Ivy psychological meltdown. It says here, Ivy League is having a mental health crisis. 47% of surveyed seniors indicated that they experienced mental illness at some point in their time at Harvard, and 13% said they were unsure. According to a survey of class of 2026 conducted by the Harvard Crimson student newspaper, that's more than double the rate of the general U.S. population, which the federal government's National Institute of Mental Health estimates at 23.1%, noting that mental illness include many different conditions that vary in degree of severity, ranging from mild to moderate to severe. At Princeton, a senior survey conducted by the Princetonian student newspaper found 60.1% had mental health counseling or therapy during college, with 36.3% getting help from the university's counseling and psychological services and 23.8% finding outside assistance. That's also much higher than the overall population. NPR reported last year on a study that found, quote, the number of American adults getting outpatient talk therapy grew from 6.5% to 8.5%. So in other words, Mike, if you are going to an Ivy League university, one of these fomenting or petri dishes for Marxism, you are much, much more likely to suffer mental illness as a result of this experience.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not sure those numbers are accurate when you analyze them the way they do them. This is the self-reporting, right? This is how they're coming up with these numbers. You and I both know that we've created a softer generation to follow us. Listen, without blame, our parents did the same to us, and their parents did the same to them. It's every parent's goal to have their children face less strife and turmoil. But they've gotten to the point now where, Craig, it's the hip thing. It's the hip thing to go sit with the counselor and admit you have some sort of, I don't want to be left out. I've got to go in there and I've got, English class stress disorder. I have to go sit down and talk to a counselor about it, whatever it may be.
Well, like I have said many, many times, this generation confuses trauma with drama.
Yeah.
And, when we were young, we dealt with, it wasn't even called drama. It was called life, right? Yeah. Millennials dealt with drama. We just dealt with life.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, that's what you do. You handle it and you move on. You don't need to go talk to somebody. We all need to vent from time to time, right? But what you don't need is someone telling you that life that you are dealing with is trauma. You know what creates the trauma? Is reliving bad experiences over and over again, reliving the hurt, reliving the pain. Sometimes that pain, kind of like working out, it leaves scars, but those scars make you stronger, right? You learn from those experiences. Instead, they would rather not have to live through anything.
Yeah. I mean, Greg, two generations ago, our grandparents went off and saved the world from destruction and came home and went back to work and never talked about it. And now you've got a generation that needs an emotional support cat and counseling because somebody got their coffee order wrong. I mean, it's just,
Yeah. Yes, sirree, Bob. All right, folks. Well, that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there, and you're going to get yours on discount today. This first one is Nick Freitas. He's former member of the Virginia House of Commons. He's speaking to what we were talking about, the first item today, and I really do appreciate what he had to say on this and why I wanted to share it as a part of our parting shots.
The 200-page report by Rupert Lowe on the grooming gangs in the UK came out, and it is horrific. It is absolutely horrific. And there's a lot to talk about on that. I just did a whole podcast on it. It is absurd that you had police officers and judges and prosecutors that were unwilling to rigorously go after these gangs because they didn't want to be called racist. Should you judge someone on race? No. But can you judge someone on culture? Absolutely. Culture is a set of ideas. Political, social, economic, theological. It's a set of ideas. And if the ideas that you've embraced produce really bad results like grooming gangs, we get to notice that. And we get to make follow-on decisions based off of that information. And there's nothing racist or xenophobic or Islamophobic about that. But the thing I really want to do here is I want to say thank you to all the victims that were willing to come forward. The bottom line is nobody wants to share a story about how when they were 12 years old, they got groomed and enticed and then proceeded to be raped for years on end by hundreds of men. Nobody wants to be known for that. And I want to tell you right now that in my eyes, you're not known for that. You're known for being the heroic sort of person that was willing to come forward and make sure it didn't happen to another little girl, regardless of what it meant for you. So the way I see you is you're heroic. Thank you.
Couldn't have said anything better.
Would agree. And again, listen, I want this big. Sure, I mean, it's not every cop turning their back and every prosecutor turning their back. There are policies from Baha'i that come down and say we're not prosecuting Muslims. Okay, why am I going to go hands on with these dudes then? Why am I going to bother, taking up the court's time when the policy's been set forth that we're not doing anything against them?
Right? No, it's I hear you, but once again, it's horrific. But the main thing I wanted to point to about this was we do get to notice when a culture does something, in particular when that culture is a counterculture, when it's against the culture that was already there, and you see the negative impact it's having on your culture. Then it comes to a point where you either change your culture or you got to go.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
Anyway.
Agreed.
Speaking about changes of culture, now, as you know, June is Pride Month. And June is also, this June in particular, this summer, we're also celebrating 250 years of the United States. And kind of wanted you to take a look at this. Benny Johnson put this together and if you wanted to see a difference, a cultural difference that can be made when you go from a Joe Biden, an America-hating Joe Biden, to an America-loving Donald Trump. This is the difference at what happens at the White House. For those of you listening,
God bless America and gentlemen, start your
big a difference.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. Yep.
All right, this next one here. This is you know how they're remaking. Hollywood is remaking a bunch of movies. Well,
Yes.
this is what happens. This is a great example, or at least someone positing what would happen if Republicans or conservatives started remaking movies.
So every movie just remade is more progressive. I just think it'd be funny if, like, the right started remaking. You know what I mean? If they just start, like, conservatives, like, there's a new Scooby-Doo coming out. And it'd be funny if, like, the right remade it. It's just like Scooby and the gang going around ripping the wigs off of transgender people. It's like, that's not a woman. Some guy would have got away with it. No. We solved the case of the Starbucks ghoul.
It hadn't been for those meddling kids.
If it hadn't been for those meddling kids. Well, see, now that's probably the reason why they want to do the drag queen story hour, because they want to calm down the meddling kids.
That's it. Those meddling
All right,
kids.
folks. Well, that brings us to the end of our program. Very much appreciate y'all tuning in. But before we go, we got one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Get on over there, get yourself some AR barrels. They got rifle caliber, pistol caliber. They also have a whole assortment of regular rifle barrels and shotgun barrels and pistol barrels. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, everything, anything you think of, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com, or you can get everything except the gun.
Once again, folks, please take a moment to visit our sponsors. Visit their websites by following the links in the description to this program. Go there, check them out, spend some money with them, and make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. And that's going to be it for today's program. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday. Till then, y'all have fun. Stay safe. See ya. Manana.